Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. We are back once again to review for the 7th grade New York State Mathematics exam. My name is Dr. Robinson, and we're going to continue our studies. So let's get started. Which two consecutive integers has a sum of 15? So consecutive integers are numbers that come right after each other, and sum means that the answer has gotta add together. So we want two numbers that add together. So let's see. 5 plus 6 is 11. That's not it. Let's try 7 and 8. That adds up to 15. So I'm going to say the two numbers that come right after each other, like 7 and 8, come right after each other, and they add up to 15. I couldn't use 5 and 6 because they add up to 11, even though they do come after each other. So my guess is going to be 7 and 8. Yes, that is it. Good question. Square root of 21 is between which two whole numbers? So again, we have the balloons and the square root of 21. Well, the square root of 21, if I had my calculator, I would get a funny looking number, which is called not rational or irrational. Irrational means that it's not a fraction, and it's not be able to turn into a fraction, and it goes on and on forever, and no explainable pattern. So we have a number that I remember, square root of 16 is equal to 4. That's close to 21. The next number I know in my square root is 25. That equals to 5. If you're wondering, how did I get 4? It's because 4 times 4 is 16. And how did I get 5? Because 5 times 5 is 25. So these numbers are perfect squares because you can multiply them by themselves and get a number 16. You can take the square root of 16 and get that number. That's what makes it 16 a perfect square. And 25 is a perfect square because you can take the square root of that number. But 21 is not a perfect square, but I do notice that the square root of 21 is somewhere in the between the square root of 16 and the square root of 25. So I know the answer must be 4 point something. So if I had a calculator, I'd be able to do it. So I don't have to really do it because they want to know between which two whole numbers. So I'm going to pick 4 and 5, and that's my balloon. Yes, 4 and 5. So 4 and 5. So let's write that down there. 4 and 5. Okay, so let's move on to our next question. Matching. Okay, we got to do some matching here. Match the phrase with the vocabulary term. So let's make this full screen so we can see everything. And let's move this out of the way. So we got a few of them here. So here we got some balloons that are empty cells, and we have some words, and we want to put them in their proper place. So we have these symbols, and we have these words here, and we want to match them up. So let's look at the first one. Cost per item. Which would it be? Let's see. Cost per item, COP. Well, that's not the cost per item. Unit rate strikes me as that. That's the cost of one item, and there you go. K equal Y slash X. Y divided by X. And K, that reminds me of the constant. because when you're dividing coordinates y over x, you get a constant number, and that's called the constants of proportionality, COP for short. All right, at least, at least. So if I'm going to get money, I want to get at least enough to cover my lunch. So if my lunch is $5, I want to get $5, but if I want to get a little something extra, I better get a little bit more than $5 so I can get more than $5. Now, which symbol is that? That's the less than symbol, and that's the greater than symbol with the equal sign attached to it. So I want to get greater than or equal to $5. So that's what we mean by at least. It means greater than or equal to. So we have two more. At most means the opposite. If I wanted to get at most $5 for lunch, the most I could take out of my piggy bank would be at most is $5. I could take $5 or I can take less than $5. And our last number is a fraction, which is a rational number, which we just mentioned a minute ago. So here's some good vocabulary. Make sure you study them. If you have time, on Tuesdays from 4:30 to 5 p.m. on Cablevision Channel 15, watch my show called Math Time. It's a very good show, and it shows some math problems and some good movies where we have mathematics in there. So check it out. Again, on Tuesdays, 4:30 to 5 p.m. It's called Math Time with Dr. Robinson. Remember, if you need help with your homework, whether it be math or any other subject, dial a teacher. Homework helpline, that's 212-777-3380 from 4 to 7 p.m. So again, that's dial a teacher homework helpline at 212-777-3380 from 4 to 7 p.m. Well, I hope you got something out of this lesson. We're going to be continuing with our series, so tune in again next time. I hope to see you there. If you have questions, bring them in. So check your answers, and we'll pick up with this type of question next time. So try it on your own. See you there. Dr. Robinson signing off.